From one of the new cathedrals of the USL Championship, Lynn Family Stadium, some soccer in the USL Championship. It's Louisville City FC and it's St. Louis FC here tonight from Louisville, Kentucky. Happy to be with you, Josh Eastern and Devin Kerr. It's Group E action in this shortened USL Championship regular season, but still happy to be with you. Last week we opened up this stadium, a big game against Pittsburgh, but it was a bit of a flop for Louisville City, a 3-1 loss, but they've been pretty good at home otherwise.
Definitely not the best performance, but the saving grace here, Josh, is how kind the schedule is going to be to them moving forward. 11 of their remaining 16 are at home, and if you remove the Riverhounds, they got 7. And they're all in a row right now. So that's a fantastic move for them. Indy 11 in their group has similar fortunes, but I like to move my eyes towards the top of the graphic. They've only lost back-to-back home matches once in their organization's history. That's a span of 80 matches.
And tonight's Power Agency player profile is Cameron Lancaster back with Louisville City this year.
To be successful, got to score some goals. They only got one last time out, and this was something, to be honest, they really needed to bring up the rear in 2019. There's a lot of guys, they can do it by committee, right? But they were lacking that one player to step up and get it done. Guess who? The Cam man can. They bring him back on loan from Nashville SC. He netted the first time out against North Carolina FC. They'll look to get him going early.
And the guy on the other side for St. Louis that will try to make sure he does not score is Toby Adewale.
He will not have his running partner in Sam Fink, spoiler alert. However, this guy was one of the bigger pickups for Steve Tritchu in the offseason. Bob Lilly's protege coming over from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. You see the amount of appearances he has professionally, but for me it goes down to his IQ, his ability to play in a multitude of systems, and more importantly, his ability to lead from the back front. You always need that type of player on the pitch.
Well, tonight both these teams come in second and third. That's St. Louis and Louisville City in Group E, so a big matchup between two very experienced teams. John Hackworth called it a mini playoff game. Lineups and first kick coming up next.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more models to choose from than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first ever Corolla hybrid, and the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. For all Toyota offers, see your Toyota dealer or go to buyatoyota.com. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
Whether it's the summer road trip, the daily commute to work, or just getting out of the house for a few minutes, we know the drive is simply better with a new vehicle from John Jones Auto Group. We are updating JohnJonesAutoGroup.com with new and used vehicles daily and bringing you the best deals on brands like Chevy, Buick, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Your next new car or truck is right here at John Jones Auto Group. You see so many because they paid so little.
After being cooped up all spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy the summer of now. With amazing rates, Adventure Loans from Commonwealth Credit Union let you hit the road, or no road at all, with UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles, and our recreational loans for boats, motorhomes, and campers. This year, make the most of every day and stay cool for the summer with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Everyone has a voice.
No justice, no peace.
What do you want to say?
I want to thank WDRB for being the only news station out here covering the truth.
Beautiful night here in Louisville, Kentucky, Lynn Family Stadium. Teams making their way out to the field right now. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. They are presented by Hometown Pizza. We will start with the home side. Their coach John Hackworth and Louisville City.
Already gave you the shout about Cameron Lancaster up top. There are going to be a bunch of changes. 6 overall for John Hackworth's squad that dropped against Bob Lilly. Openo, Masoso, McMahon, Wes Sharpie, Sean Tosh, and Chris Hubbard. Everybody else, let's get back at it. Speedy Williams, opening goal at Lynn Family Stadium, looking to continue on a positive performance alongside Oscar Jimenez. How do the visitors come in? Well, Steve Tritchu is going to make a couple changes as well. We said no Sam Fink, Fanuel Kavita's back in action. Guy Ben slides into the 6 role in the middle of the field underneath Wharton and Joaquin Rivas. And Kadeem Dakers goes to the right side. Cicerone will be the balance with their big guy, Tyler Blackwood, up top.
So just getting set for first kick here tonight. And there are fans in the stands tonight. There is Steve Trittschuh, and we are just about set to go. Of course, it's Louisville in all purple, and it is St. Louis in their blue and green kits. Just about set to go. A hot night tonight in Louisville, and the smoke to set the mood for the next 90 minutes here at Lynn Family Stadium, the second game in the new home of Louisville City FC. We are just about set to go. A big Group E matchup. Both these teams locked on 3 points. A win and a loss for each of them. Just waiting on our referee, Youssef El Masousi. There's the whistle. We're underway tonight from Louisville. Last time out, of course, for Louisville, a tough 3-1 loss to Pittsburgh to open this stadium. And on the other side for St. Louis, they were just up the road in Indy, but a 2-0 loss started their restart in a sour tone as well. So tonight, both these teams really need to get back at it. And 3 points will definitely be a luxury for whoever can grab them tonight. As we look at these group matchups moving forward, they're mini playoff games, as John Hackworth said.
You also have to remember, Josh, in this new format that obviously you want to grab 3 points, but given the fact they're in the same group, this is a 6-point swing. It's not something we normally have the luxury of seeing when it comes to the East versus West battles in years past. Felt like we had just secured ourselves in a pretty regular format. Guys were balanced in the Eastern Conference. In the West, you see each other a home and away. No more of the 3-game series, and of course some unfortunate circumstances push that to the side. Now an opportunity for all these boys to get back at it.
This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. The places that Louisville want to go once again, back to the USL Championship final. Of course, they've been there quite a lot in the past few years. And they have a good chance as ever to get back there this year, but it starts with getting 3 points again here tonight, getting into those top 2 spots in the group. Tonight's keys to the game are powered by Kentucky Lottery, who reminds you that lottery proceeds fund college scholarship and grant programs, including every dollar of the popular Keys Scholarship Program.
Louisville City did start strong last time out, but they really gave the ball away unnecessarily too many times, and that seemed to plague them the rest of the game. St. Louis FC, go Shakespeare on them. Well, Julius Caesar, right? Beware the odds of July. You want to make sure that you stay home here. Don't necessarily poke your head out when you don't need to. Weather the storm, take as much pressure as you can, because remember, although we return to play, this is very much still preseason-like football for most of these guys. They've only had 2 weeks of training, so you have to be quite calculated in your actions.
This ball lofted forward, looking there for Blackwood. Trying to get it wide. There is a player down for Louisville. Or pardon me, that is Toby Adewale. He is down right at midfield. I think that happened behind the play, but he is still down and nursing that right leg. Not a good early sign here for Steve Trittschuh and St. Louis FC.
Looking down the bench as well, Josh. Can you imagine if he had to make a change this early in the game?
I mean, you have Sam Fink waiting there, but not what you want to do 3 minutes in, as he looks like he might be able to carry on.
Sam Fink's there. They brought in Daniel Fisher. Brian's on the bench as well, and just hoping that 5 minutes in, just maybe a little tweak. Quick little conversation with your body and just say, hey, we got to get it together for the next 85+ minutes or so.
You don't want to get those knocks early on, and I'm sure you can attest to. Another foul in the midfield. This will go St. Louis's way.
Just commit to buying yourself a water with lemon. You know, say, I'll take care of you after the game. Just take care of me now.
Sure.
Help get me through this.
It's Masoso committing the foul right in the center circle. And talking with Coach Steve Tritchu the other day, said a lot of positives came out of that game against Indy. He thought they started very well, maybe unlucky not to get a goal. And here comes Louisville, is just a little bit too far out of the reach of Opano. Gagnon Lapare will send this back in the goal. It's Kyle Morton in between the pipes tonight for St. Louis, coming over from Pittsburgh last year. Looking for Blackwood. It's Tosh. Did get a touch to it, deflects out. And it will be a goal kick for Chris Hubbard, who is back into the lineup tonight. And there is John Hackworth. It was Steve Tritchu was a little bit more upbeat about his team's performance, albeit a loss. John Hackworth, I mean, just noted by the 6 changes. I think that kind of tells you where his head was at coming into this game.
One of the teams in this league, Josh, regardless of scoreline, that probably on the more consistent side. You can always understand their style, and everybody's going to have a bad game, but never have we seen a team so out of sync and for such an extended period of time. So uncharacteristic of Lou City. And it was honest. It was very similar to the final in 2019, to be honest, where they came out, they get the opening goal, dominated most of the play, and then from there it was kind of a snowball effect where it was chasing the game. The difference was is in the final they had a couple of injuries and issues and had to make unnecessary substitutions.
Looking for Cicerone. Tosh will just chest that one back to Hubbard. But both these teams, we talk about experience, especially Louisville City. The continuity has been there year in and year out. And John Hackworth knows that these players know what they need to do to be on the field. And I guess he just wanted a few new guys to see what they could do here tonight as Cicerone brings it into the attack again. Trying to squeeze through a couple of Lou City defenders. He's taken off the ball.
Here's the good news for him. He has the ability to make all the changes because of the depth and not miss a beat. You know, these guys are ingrained within this culture of exactly what's asked of them. And you can take that all the way back to the goalkeeper and Chris Hubbard. You go back to last year where Lund goes down with the ankle injury. Chris Hubbard stepped in. He got hurt. Brian Holt, Casey Clark. The list went on and on and on. But finally, Hubbard cemented himself. So everything that he was able to take care of last year, yes, he loses the jersey last game out, but he steps right back into it.
It's a 5th-3rd free kick here in the defensive half for Louisville City. We talk about some of the teams with all that depth. Louisville City definitely one of them. Phoenix in the West. I feel like those two could be on a collision course for a rematch. The 2018 final. It would be a juicy matchup come October. Still a lot of soccer left to play between now and then. Here's McMahon cutting in field. Sun might be a little bit of an issue there for Kyle Morton as it sets pretty much right in his face. Louisville City trying to be methodical here in the build-up. Switch of the field. Jimenez, right-footed effort. Oh, it's just wide. An ambitious effort from far out from the Lou City left back.
Love this idea here, Josh. 9 times out of 10, Oscar Jimenez will go all the way to the byline, drag a runner with him, and then whip something into the box. They've obviously done the scouting report, so much so, Oscar knows what he wants. Look at the English on the ball, none whatsoever. He catches this thing true. Nice little dip on the back end of it. This was past Kyle Morton. Just needed it to tuck itself inside that post.
Didn't quite have the bend at the end to do that, but a good effort nonetheless from the Lou City left back. He's only scored 6 career goals, this being his 4th season with Lou City.
He creates like nobody else, though. So smart. We referenced Toby Adewale from St. Louis FC and his IQ on the back line coming over from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Oscar Jimenez has obviously been here for quite some time. But if you just watch his movements, both on and off the ball, very clever, quick-footed, but always willing to make you second guess. And that was a perfect example of it. A lot of times he'll just push it outside, whip that ball in, let somebody else run onto it. but if you give him that little step, sets it up, has a go himself.
Pressure making St. Louis play out of the back here. Ball played in. Masoso towards the top of the box. Corbin Bones able to take it away. Keep the attack going. Ownby will just send this towards goal. He was looking maybe for a slight deflection right into the arms there of Kyle Morton.
Time. Come on, walk, get on the ball, walk on.
Taken away again. St. Louis playing under a bit of pressure. We've seen a little bit from both sides already. Steve Tritschu saying his team, he wants him to play more up-tempo. You can't really keep that up for 90 minutes this early in the season after about a 4-month layoff. He says it'll be a slow build into that, and they have to pick their moments when they want to press. And right now it's Louisville City coming forward again. A lot of room there. There's Ownby cutting in field, and all the way on this near side was Hopino, who was calling for it. He never got it.
Lancaster in the middle, Hopino. To your point, Josh, wide open on the back post. But that's also one, based upon the last performance, I don't mind the look. You saw it from Oscar Jimenez. These guys are just trying to build some confidence right now. You can see the way that they're building up, moving themselves into the final third. It's a lot more adventurous than last time out against the Riverhounds. Conversely, for St. Louis FC, they're just looking for some footing right now. I actually thought they performed quite well against Indy 11, but most people forget it was 1-0 in that match till 10 minutes to go. Just got to find a way to hit the back of the net a bit more regularly.
There's Wharton. Something Hackworth talked to us this week about was playing forward and positive and not backward and negative. And I think that shot by Ownby there, maybe more of a positive step there for the Louisville City number 10 man.
I actually really like what Steve Tritschu has continued on the blueprint that was put forth and added some nice pieces in the offseason. Always very vocal about his lack of resources, if you will, at Switchbacks FC. On the road, only getting to travel 14, 15 guys at times. Young academy players that had no experience whatsoever, 3-4 deep on the bench. But look at the staff now.
This team's built.
He's got a quality team in general, nice bench. Bring back pieces like Wallfall. Kyle Morton comes over with the departure of Tomas Gomez. Gagnon Laparet. Nice to see him coming over from Ottawa Fury. There's some real big names in this footballing world, especially in the USL Championship.
St. Louis, they just missed out on the playoffs last year. They went winless in their last 6 after 5 straight wins before that. Missed out on the postseason. Looking to get back there this year, but it'll be a tough group here in Group E. Indy 11, Lou City, of course, Sporting KC2. Indy 11 and SKC2 going at it just up the road in Indianapolis tonight. Gagnon Laparet. Louisville using this big pitch to their advantage. Here's McMahon. Towards the top of the box, the shot coming, and it's off the post. Lancaster collects it again. He wants to do it all himself, loses his footing, and Adewale just thumps it clear. It might break here for St. Louis. Blackwood, he just couldn't get it right. And taken right back from Lou City. But there's some of those positive movements from Louisville City. A goal scorer like Cameron Lancaster, you have to like that. Although it didn't go in.
He had one really similar week 1 against North Carolina FC that did the same thing. And it was before he was able to hit the net in the second half. Maybe a little omen on the horizon.
Hopino. Got it in for Lancaster, who's been pretty busy in his movement here early on. You have to like that if you're Lou City.
Josh, they've been more threatening in the opening 14 minutes of this match than the entire 90 against the Riverhounds last week. That's a good look for John Hackworth. He's going to be very pleased. And you were talking about the width. This is something they didn't have the luxury of, with all due respect to Slugger. It was very narrow. It was short as well. McMahon doesn't even use the full of it to his advantage. But still, Cameron Lancaster, love this run in the middle, by the way. Look at Openo. He's the one who drags the back line. As he starts to tuck himself in, he then peels back out. And a little V-like motion, drags the outside back with him. That opens up the spot in the middle for Lancaster. Can't finish it off. But this is exactly how you want your squad to recover after last week's performance.
I'll give Kyle Morton a bit of credit. I think he just did get a fingertip on that to push it off the post. Lou City definitely the more threatening of the two sides so far. Slip at the back. Going in circles is Gagnon Laparet. Cicerone able to keep it in play. Well, you just feel like you're right on top of the action here at Lynn Family Stadium.
I'm shocked the referee doesn't blow the whistle here. This is a rough challenge in the middle of the field.
Bend is down.
They were just getting in a little groove too. It's easy to sit here and go Louisville this, Louisville that, based upon the way that they've started, and of course because of their history. St. Louis FC, don't sleep on them. St. Louis FC, Birmingham Legion, two teams that I think did a lot of work in the offseason in the Eastern Conference to make themselves a bit more relevant. Of course, Legion did make the playoffs last year. They were part of that play-in game. That one just escaped the referee there. Got to take care of these guys.
We'll see if that's a common trend, that he maybe keeps the whistle in his pocket a little bit more tonight. Let the guys play. "16 minutes in, Cameron Lancaster's hit the post. That's the closest we've been to the opening tally so far tonight. Openo putting Gagnon Laparet in a spin cycle all the way across the face of goal and knocked out for a corner kick. It's our first of the night. They're presented by Single Point Solutions, in your corner with superior customer support. Single Point Solutions.
You got to feel the frustration for Openo because he does all the hard work. Then when he puts it back across the 6, so Lancaster's making the near post run, but look at everybody behind him. Masoso can't free himself up. Corbin Bones, the late addition to this group, have to be better in the final third. There's too much beautiful movement not to finish that off.
In swinger, headed towards the back post. Lancaster will try to track this down. He thinks he has himself another corner kick, and he does.
Let's see how tricky they get here, Josh. We saw a few glimpses into exactly what they're capable of. Now they go the two-man game. Sometimes they run the stunts top of the box with Jimenez dragging the one runner out right now. And the way that they're feeling themselves, don't be surprised if he whips this in and lets the big bodies go get it.
Another in-swinger, this time from Jimenez towards the top of the box, looking for Ownby. He'll take it on. Oh, it wasn't far away. An ambitious effort, though, by Ownby, and out for a goal kick.
This is how tricky they can be. This is, without a doubt, one of the best teams from set-piece opportunities, and they have been for the last couple of years. They pride themselves on their ability to execute from these dead ball situations. Brian Ownby, not the tallest of stature, so they drop him back thinking, okay, he's going to sit there, be one of the bodies to allow the defense to hold shape if the team starts to counter. Instead, what was once a decoy becomes the focal point of this team going forward. Lovely little look.
Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Here comes Lou City again with McMahon. Using that width again for Openo. His cross blocked away by Kavita, and out for another corner kick, already the third here in the past few minutes.
Samuel Cavita just throwing his arm around Cicerone, and he's still there. Cicerone frustrated with the instructions that are being passed back and forth right now. He had actually stepped over, and all the space in behind him. It's pretty easy for Lou City to just allow McMahon to continue that progression forward, and that's something they haven't been on the same page opening 20 minutes here, Josh. Midfield struggling to put passes together, and the width causing concern as well.
Towards the back post, too far for Lancaster. To track this down again, and he will. He'll send a ball in towards the penalty spot, takes a bounce, an appeal for handball. Speedy Williams, his hands went straight up asking for it. Well, let's see, is this a handball?
Oh, that's the chest. That looks like that comes off the chest.
It was close because his arm was dangling there. I mean, if his arm was in towards his chest, then of course we're all good to go. But
you know I got to stick up for the defenders.
All right, that's definitely fair. Towards the back post again, nodded back into the middle. Openo, he'll take this down with his chest. Sent in towards Morton. He makes the two-handed catch, looking to distribute quickly. And now he'll slow it down.
I'm still in awe that the Riverhounds let him get away, Kyle Morton.
Morton, yeah.
That quality goalkeeper. But I also understand the way Bob Litley is with his players. He gets someone, he likes to hang on to him.
Jimenez was deflected there on the cross by the left back.
Tomas Gomez left with the departure of the Rochester Rhinos after the 2017 season, and people are quick to forget that he was Bob Litley's guy. 2016-2017 Golden Glove of the USL Championship, and that was with his time with Bob Litley and the Rochester Rhinos, and now he, what do you say, goes home, if you will?
Sure.
People, you find a manager, you want to stick with him.
Lancaster, oh, he rings the crossbar. As this one goes out of play. All right, they're not holding back tonight.
He's feeling himself too. Good runs, lovely vision, and just
that actually
that
hit
upper
the
corner, right up over the top of it.
Yeah. Oh, it did hit the bar. I couldn't tell if it hit the bar behind the bar.
And the good news is he had something like 26 touches the entire game last week out against Pittsburgh.
They've already equaled that.
15 right now.
Yeah.
And you're 20 minutes in, and all of them have been that positive movement that you were talking about, how Hackworth felt like they were going side to side too much, and he wanted them to be on the offensive. That's exactly what you're getting right now. And if you're Steve Tritchu, you're just waiting for your boys to start sparring back a little bit, right? You're taking a lot of pressure, and that's going to happen on the road, tired, coming off a loss against a team like Louisville City. But you can't sit back the entire game. Got to find a way to hit that release valve a little bit.
Well, Hackworth talked to us about finding the spaces, and we've seen it down this right side especially. A lot of room for McMahon and Openo to work. It's been a handful for Gagnon Laparé so far. We're midway through this first 45 minutes tonight from Lynn Family Stadium. Ownby. There's Corbin Bone. Lancaster, oh, it just got deflected. Looking for an outlet here, all the way towards this near side.
He kept that in, well done.
Play continuing. It was Kadeem Dakers on that, making that long run.
But look at the space, Josh. So Kadeem Dakers comes to the near side. There's no rotation out there. And Louisville City initially had a pretty good amount of space to work with. That's some of the communication we're talking about, where when you're learning this system, remember, most of these guys last year under Anthony Pulis were sitting in that 4-4-2. Totally different this time around. It was a very traditional style 4-4-2 where everybody go flat across the middle. They did like to allow both of their outside backs to get involved, but outside of that, there wasn't a lot of interchange between the likes of Lewis Hilton and the rest of the boys in the midfield. Kyle Gregg up top. When they did bring Tyler Blackwood in, he was the bright spark. But they haven't necessarily had that 1-2 punch up top combined with some quality movement coming out of the midfield. And when you're in a game like this, 25 minutes in, things aren't going well, this is how you get going. A couple 5, 10-yard passes, gain the confidence, but also understand that the onslaught of those purple jerseys is not going to relinquish itself.
Yeah, they are definitely playing under some pressure. It's been difficult for them to get into the attacking third tonight. Here's Bone. Back for Ownby. Lancaster was making the run. Bone recollects.
Yeah, I can redo it on dead ball.
Now they play out to that left-hand flank.
Yeah, it's Max Harris, too. I might have been self-focused.
All the way to the end line. And Awole blocks that one away. Masoso. Lancaster, he might get on the end of this. Morton way off his line. Lancaster with Morton still way out there. Some frantic defending here, and Morton, he tried to keep it in, he couldn't. In the end, you can't say that was awful from Morton as he did get back, but maybe a missed opportunity there for Louisville.
Sometimes it's just not in the cards. This is frustrating for everybody from St. Louis FC right now. Oscar Jimenez, that's where Brian Ownby, you got to yell dummy and let that ball run right through the legs. He'd have a nice little one-touch into the back of the net.
Another corner kick for Lou City. St. Louis trying to relieve some of this pressure they've been under. And this time, a goal kick. Don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Louisville City and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Louisville City's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club.
Looking better for you.
Trying to play through the middle. And it will be a foul. It's Rivas who went down. Trying to play quickly now with St. Louis.
I'll tell you, Josh, they don't look like they played a week ago. St. Louis looks tired.
They do.
I'm all for the not able to go full match 90 right now, but we've got 6 days, recover, get the game plan going, figure out what the strategy was, what it can be, what your alternates are when things start to break down. But it just seems like most of the players, they're just a step off, right? Even on the quick little restart there, nice little ball through the middle, and no one's up top, no imagination whatsoever, and they have to restart again. Just keep the ball moving right now. Put it on the deck. Touch, 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 touch. Makes Lou City chase. There you go.
Dakers playing it wide again, all the way to the end line. Cross coming into the middle. Oh boy, that was a chance for Blackwood. He just couldn't get it right. A little bit more positive there from St. Louis. And they come again down the right. Once again, Lou City there, able to knock it away, win back possession. Almost an outlet down that left-hand side. Should be getting to our hydration break here in just a few minutes. A warm night in Louisville.
You getting enough liquids over there?
Trying to.
You don't need the break. You're good to go.
Oh, I'm good. I'm not running around.
Your mind's busy, though.
Plenty. Here's Cicerone. Lapare there on the overlap. Cicerone a bit ambitious there, dragging it well wide of Chris Hubbard in goal. John Hackworth wants to take that water break right now. They will keep on playing. Here's Lancaster right through the middle. Kavita. They are letting him play here tonight. Yusuf El-Masusi. Here's Openo. McMahon for Lancaster. This one up and over. And out for another goal kick. I think now we will get our hydration break, but let's go back a little bit earlier. There was an appeal for handball. We're going to take a look at this in extra slow motion here.
Well, I said to you the first time that I didn't think it was a penalty. Coming in, watch this.
I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced. Let's slow it down. Let's see what we can do here. Slow it down. Little touch.
That's a pen for me.
What? In what planet? Look at him. Watch. Coming right back up. That's off his pec.
No, I think that's off his arm.
That's hitting his pec.
But the way his arm reacts as it moves
Anybody's arm
back.
is going to react. This is my favorite thing when I get into conversations with people, especially when it comes to the rule book. First of all, when you jump in the air, I say we to protect the center backs. When you jump.
But this isn't a jump.
Hang on. It is not normal for your body to have its arms sitting right next to you. Conversely, when the ball's coming at you, your mind moves faster than your body does usually.
Of course.
The ball hits him, and he's rotating his body away. So the arm starts to move because he's moving after the ball's already hit him. That's human nature. That's going to happen. And if you notice, they argued for all of 5 seconds for that penalty. Everybody in Lou City jersey. So what I'm saying is if they really thought that hit his hand and there was conclusive evidence, I promise you.
It would have been more.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
John Hackworth. Let me tell you about John Hackworth.
Please.
He gets into the linesman for the fact that they didn't go to the water break right away. Tell me what would have happened if that was an actual penalty.
It's true. It's true. Let's take one more look at it just so we can be sure.
There's the bounce. Watch the touch.
Slight deflection.
That's his chest, man. That's his chest.
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Ready for this? Watch this. Watch this. Let's see if we can. So here's the best thing. Watch where the ball pauses. So here's this, where it hits his body. Watch where it comes off the torso. See the ball right there. Here's my favorite thing. The rule book in IFAB right now says that if this were a handball, it's the bottom of the armpit. So even if that did hit his arm, look where the jersey is, not the bottom of the armpit. Even if. So I'm giving you an out, and you still can't take it.
No, okay, I'll take it. But I'm still not 100% sure.
It's amazing.
I mean, of course.
You know, 3 o'clock in the morning, you have no sleep, and you start running through the IFAB rulebook, and then we end up here.
Maybe I should.
Love that scarf, by the way. This is our house.
And boy, what a house it is.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to visit it.
This is, I like what John Hackworth says. He calls it the cathedral, and it should be. It is beautiful, every single inch of it.
I mean, we will take a look at halftime at some of the stadiums coming to the league, but this is the first big one. And boy, is it just I guess a cathedral, as John Hackworth says.
It's the perfect representation, right? Still waiting to get onto that Modelo bar at the other end underneath the Jumbotron. That in the futsal court just outside.
Which one are you going to first?
I'll have to hydrate with enough water to make it out to the futsal court before the little kids school me.
All right.
I have no agility left in this old body, you know?
You get just a big body standing there, though.
Yeah. Just knock me and get the little weighted ball, and I'll crack him from distance.
I have faith you could do that. Once again, Louisville City showing that pressure out of the hydration break. If you're Steve Tritchu, what are you telling your team in that hydration break? They've been under a little bit of pressure, haven't created a whole lot so far through 30 minutes.
Some of this reminds me of what happened with Louisville City, but more towards the second half of last game against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, where you're just looking for a glimmer, right? It's actually also quite similar to what North Carolina FC experienced against the Tampa Bay Rowdies last night. Okay, so the opening half isn't going well for you. It's still 0-0. And yes, there's been some looks, a bunch of them, from Louisville City, but that 0 is still up there. So what you're trying to do right now is get to the dressing room. Remember that they have the 5-sub rule now, and the halftime window is not one of them. So you have the opportunity, okay, am I going to make changes? That's something that has to be discussed with the coaching staff. They're a little thin right now, given the injuries, and Oscar Umar was a key loss for them last week. You know, he went down, they ended up bringing him out. He's being missed in the middle of the field right now, with all due respect to Guy Ben. Anytime they're trying to play out, if you notice, they haven't really been able to go down the middle of the field. It's a long ball, maybe 1 or 2 passes, and then it's done. So you have to find a way to start to string something together. I don't care if you go side to side. Hackworth said last week that Louisville City struggled with that too much, and I agree. But sometimes you need to get back to basics in order to build some confidence. The best chance St. Louis FC came in that exact manner.
Well, these two teams in their 2 matchups last year, just 1 goal in the 2 matchups. It was a 1-0 road win for Louisville City. That came all the way in October. It was a 0-0 road draw for St. Louis when they came to Louisville back in May. A long effort, and this one will sail into the stands.
Looking for a repeat of last week.
It was well taken, that first goal in Lynn family stadium history.
Pretty glorious strike by Speedy Williams. It seems that when he does score, they're bangers, right? Just from distance,
yeah.
unleashing from Speedy Williams.
Of course, the fans in the stands wearing the masks at limited capacity at Lynn Family Stadium. When this place gets rocking at 100% capacity, boy, this is going to be a fortress for Louisville City, you'd think. Jimenez. A little bit of miscommunication down that left side.
I'd actually like to see the midfield 3 widen up a little bit here for St. Louis FC. Joaquin Rivas, Todd Wharton. That's when it becomes a bit of cat and mouse as well, though. You know, as you start to spread yourself wide. Problem they're having right now is the space behind Cicerone and Keating Dakers is pretty accessible. So once the ball drops in, it's easy for them to just go the other direction.
Gagnon Lapare trying to come up with it. Well done by Pat McMahon. The battle there on that left side. Tosh. Ownby. Masoso playing it wide. Here's Opino. Back into the middle, and he just couldn't keep himself on side. Opino begs to differ. The flag went up here on the near side. That really opened up well for Louisville.
Not a bad buildup whatsoever, Josh. Corbin Bone wide open. How this ball doesn't get slotted through. Absolute ecstasy. Watch this transitional play. Good stuff here. Brian Ownby, 1v1. Whoop! See you later. That's where he turns on the afterburners, and just keep an eye on the backside of this screen. Look at Corbin Bone. Give it to him, Masoso. I mean, there is daylight between he and the 6-yard box. Slide it in, and he's got a quick little tap home.
To be fair, though, Opano was in acres of space on this near side.
Don't disagree with that, but you're also moving away from your target. So you bring it outside, yes, now you've got 3 runners in the box, but your angle is also off, and you're further away from your destination, as opposed to the little 6-yard ball over your left shoulder. That's a vision thing, though.
Yeah.
When the ball's moving from left to right, your natural progression as a player is to follow the momentum. That's where you have to get the quick little look up initially, and as it comes to you, you've already got your mind up. Speed it up. Get the rate of play going. Corbin Bone's in. Tuck it home. You're up 1-0.
Louisville City's had a few chances, but not able to find that finishing product as of yet. Blue City showing that pressure again. Ownby trying to win it back, going to ground. He was pulled down. Might Youssef El Masousi go to his pocket? He will. Paris G into the book. That yellow card is presented by World of Beer.
It's in from behind. It's pretty easy for the referee, right?
Yeah.
Pull the card,
Yep.
move on. They've been tussling with each other. Nothing that the referee had to actually go after Paris G for. But that's been a fun matchup so far. Nice change of pace. Really like the addition of him in 2019, bringing him over. Coming over from former Tulsa Roughnecks, now FC Tulsa after the rebrand. Another one of those guys, much like Adewale, that has the ability to play in multiple systems. Cameron Lancaster sitting over this. Tell you, marksman, he likes to hit the dead ball. This angle is very difficult, though.
Just a 2-man wall. A lot of players occupying space right at the top of the 6. Lancaster, oh, was punched away by Morton. Well done by the St. Louis goalkeeper. Trying to just play that in through traffic, it looked like. Another ball sent in. Throw-in will go St. Louis's way.
In matches like this, Josh, you sort of wonder, right? Is this going to be one of those days where you have the brunt of the momentum, you have all the chances, can't finish something off, and 65th, 70th minute, opposition steals one from you, and then you're trying to play chase the rest of the game?
I feel like I watched that game earlier today.
I've been a lot of those myself, and they're not fun. I feel like you do everything right except for the finished product, even though they're right there on the doorstep. See, just look at the width right now. It's not good enough.
Bone teeing it up. And out. Did that take a slight deflection? It looked like it did. It will be another corner kick.
It's so easy for Louisville City right now. Rivas and Todd Wharton are pulled so far inside as Corbin Bone got whacked across the
A
nose.
little bloody nose.
Yeah, and so when they're trying to play out, you have Cicerone and Dakers, but they're already marked up by Jimenez and McMahon. You have to find a way to get another outlet. That's why if you take your midfielders, spread them a little bit, you're also going to pull the runners of the likes of Corbin Bone and Masoso with you. So even if you do break down, they don't have the luxury of countering as quickly as they just did.
Jimenez, again another corner, punched away by Morton. A lot of hands going up in the air. And another corner kick. Morton has been very busy in this first 45 minutes. Jimenez again, the Mount Vernon, Washington native. The in-swinger towards the near post. Headed away. Jimenez will get it back. And another corner. Well, you've talked about how good Louisville City can be from set pieces. Let's see if they can make one of these work out. They've had plenty of corners in this first half. This time towards the back post. Kavita was up for it. It'll be a throw-in for St. Louis. A pair of West Coast matchups highlight your Sunday schedules. The USL Championship continues its 2020 season. The Donner Pass Derby kicks things off at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 as both Sacramento Republic and Reno 1868 look to take early control of Group A. An hour later at 10 Eastern on ESPN Deportes, San Diego Loyal takes on LA Galaxy 2 in Group A action. Don't miss a single second of the action Sunday on the ESPN family of networks. As Cicerone comes forward, cutting it back to his left. Swarmed by purple jerseys. And Lou City wins it back. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Refs have added 4 minutes at the end of this 45 minutes.
Nice ball.
Long diagonal ball looking for Cicerone.
He starts to stretch the purple jerseys a little bit there, Joss. Come all the way back across, widen yourself up. But look at the marking. I mean, this is man marking right now by Louisville City.
Seems like when we've seen Lou City come into the attack, it's been in swarms of purple jerseys. For St. Louis, it's kind of just ones and twos that come forward.
It is also the second time just now. I mean, that was a forearm to the back of the head to the Lou City player, or excuse me, to the St. Louis FC player. Sean Tosh coming through with momentum. And referee definitely hasn't been nonchalant about the decision so far, but he is letting a little bit of this go.
Cicerone is waiting at the back post unmarked. And the volley will sail out of play. Gaia Bend ambitious. From Netanya, Israel, just north of Tel Aviv. Played in Israel for 5 years. Midway through the minimum of 4 minutes at the end of this first half. We've said there haven't been a whole lot of goals between these two teams going back past couple of years. Open Cup and then both matchups last year. Steve Tritschu said it though, who can take advantage of mistakes? And it might just be one of those matches where one mistake could prove costly. Two experienced sides, pretty good benches as well. Should be a very entertaining second 45 minutes. St. Louis using that space onto the right. Can they nip one before halftime? They'll win a corner kick.
This is where he missed Sam Fink.
That aerial presence.
Oh yeah. They'll still bring Fanuel Kavita up, as well as that Awale, but Sam Fink, one of the best in the biz as a defender coming up off the back line, and trying to find a way to exert his presence.
Scored some big goals in Open Cup last year. And then took down Chicago and Cincinnati. Towards the near post. And it looked like it was Kavita who got a touch on that, just couldn't direct it on goal. And that will be that in this first 45 minutes from Lynn Family Stadium. Quickly, who's the happier of the two coaches going into the locker room?
Lou City. It's easy for John Hackworth. They showed proper energy to start off, created some quality chances, didn't finish it off. But the key here is to remain consistent. He's going to want them to come out firing again in the second half. If you're Steve Trittschuh, you just need to find a way to get these guys on the same page and find a way to express yourselves a bit more. This game's about having fun and knocking the ball around the park. We really haven't seen that so far from St. Louis FC.
Next up is the Passport Health Plan halftime report. No score from Lynn Family Stadium as we hit halftime. An exciting 45 minutes coming up in just a few minutes, but we'll break for 15. We'll see if we can find a goal in the second half. It's Louisville City FC 0. It's St. Louis FC 0 as we're at halftime.
We're on a Toyota USA road trip through the Bluegrass State.
There is so much to see and do here in Kentucky.
And there's no better way to do it than in a new Toyota. They just keep making them better and better.
Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D.
And the information they learn here is what makes Toyota Safety Sense so effective. Advanced safety as standard equipment. Gotta love that.
Toyota, driven here, loved here.
Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
Whether it's the summer road trip, the daily commute to work, or just getting out of the house for a few minutes, we know the drive is simply better with a new vehicle from John Jones Auto Group. We are updating JohnJonesAutoGroup.com with new and used vehicles daily and bringing you the best deals on brands like Chevy, Buick, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Your next new car or truck is right here at John Jones Auto Group. You see so many because they paid so little.
After being cooped up all spring, it's time to get outside and enjoy the summer of now. With amazing rates, Adventure Loans from Commonwealth Credit Union let you hit the road, or no road at all, with UTVs, ATVs, and motorcycles, and our recreational loans for boats, motorhomes, and campers. This year, make the most of every day and stay cool for the summer with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Kentucky wrote the book on feuds, the Hatfields and McCoys, the Cats and Cards. But now you can watch the biggest feuds every day.
I'll play with you. I have nothing else to do today.
4 o'clock Family Feud, followed by 5 o'clock Judy on WPKI.
What y'all gonna do is get out my face talking.
Weekday starting at 4.
Welcome back to the Passport Health Plan halftime report. No score here at Lynn Family Stadium between Louisville City FC and St. Louis FC. Group E action in this USL Championship season. We're looking at Lynn Family Stadium and a beautiful sunset as well, but just one of the cathedrals of the USL Championship, but we're gonna get a few more coming in the next few years. Colorado Springs, this looks like a beautiful downtown stadium as well, and this is just part of the growth of this game in this country.
Seems like every time we turn on the television, check on the internet, someone else is getting involved. There's Martin Rennie's new home, Indy 11. Used to frequent the stomping grounds of Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, just a little south.
It's just a little south. We'll get you back out there for a visit. OKC Energy FC, there you go. John Pasquarella.
That's beautiful.
He'll put a cot in the back, be able to get all his film study done. Multi-use facility, he'll check out the concerts. North Carolina
This
FC.
might be one of the more impressive renderings. I mean, this stadium looks absolutely legit.
I always joke with John Hackworth and Dave Serikin that they're instituting a Hawaiian fruit punch water fountain in their offices. I hope that stadium has one.
Well, San Diego, boy, this would be quite a park. The stadium, the park, the whole thing. This almost looks like the thing here in Miami as well. Let's take a look at just some of these stadiums and their proposals. Of course, Lynn Family Stadium opened last Sunday. For 2021, we're hoping for that Colorado Springs. But this is just what you want to see in a league that is ever growing.
Some new head coaches as well. Alan Koch going to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. We talked about John Pascarella taking over the reins in Energy FC. And how about Landon Donovan, San Diego Loyal? Nice little start to their resumption of play.
They are looking good in Group B, but right here in Louisville, 0-0 at halftime between these two Group E foes. Second half coming up shortly. We're hoping for a goal in this second 45 minutes.
The USL is proud to bring professional soccer back into our communities and across the ESPN family of networks. Follow your local club and don't miss these exciting matches coming up on ESPN2 or ESPN Deportes.
Now up for Sandoval, and great save by Sean Melvin, and now a strike in there goes in for a goal.
Here's Jackson Conway. First chance, and buried for Atlanta.
Asante going for goal, what a strike! Catching Romero off his line.
One of the key components of USL clubs establishing reserve teams through the USL Academy League is the strategic alignment of long-term player development efforts. As opposed to the scholastic calendar that traditional youth leagues typically follow, and in an effort to further drive vertical integration, the USL Academy League will be the first pre-professional league to align with the American professional soccer calendar. Clubs will begin the year with a month-long preseason in February, followed by a 9-month regular season split into 3 cycles: spring, summer, and fall, concluding with USL Academy League playoffs before an off-season in December and January. Clubs will be able to move players fluidly through programs at select times throughout the year. These transfer windows strategically align the Youth Network, USL Academy Team, and USL Senior Team even further. For more information, visit usl-academy.com.
Halftime between Louisville City and St. Louis in Group E action. Both these teams in a 6-pointer, a mini playoff game. Let's take a look at this week's news and notes around the USL Championship. It's been a busy week with games basically every day, but for San Diego Loyal, they have that new stadium that we were just kind of looking at in the last segment, but let's talk about Solomon Asante, pretty much picking up right where he left off from last year.
All he does is score goals and make assists. I don't know what the big deal is. You know,
Bangers.
I don't understand. Well, it's funny. We were treated, you know, for a few years, we didn't have anybody hitting the double-double. Then it was one player. Then it was 2. Now Solomon Asante just decides he's going to do it every single year. Hats off, gentlemen.
Of course, the USL United against racism. We've seen the BLM armbands across the league. There's a look at the Group E standings. Indy 11 was in action tonight against Sporting Kansas City 2. What sticks out to you about this group?
To me, in the Eastern Conference, this is the most difficult group. Now, there are groups that I look at that I think, okay, this isn't as clear, and there's a lot of teams in it that could come out. Group H comes to mind, maybe a spoiler in Group G, but Group E for me, I look at all this, especially with how many home matches Indy and Louisville City have. It's very, very difficult for St. Louis FC and Sporting Kansas City 2 to move their way up Group B.
Let's take a look at the COSAIR schedule, brought to you by COSAIR Charities, enhancing the health and well-being of children since 1923. More ESPN2 games for you and your friend Mike Watts.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Indy 11. Look at that one. Indy 11, by the way. 96 minute against Sporting Kansas City 2, up 2-1. Philadelphia Union 2, Red Bull 2. That should be interesting. How about Hartford Athletic, Loudoun United? Hartford turning things around.
Nice
win. Little win over Red Bull. To be fair, Red Bull 2 have a lot of players down in the bubble, so a bit easier of a schedule, if you will.
And Indy 11 up 2-1 against Sporting Kansas City 2. It was 1-1 before Patrick Barrett was able to bury a 67th minute goal, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds up on Philly Union 2 as well. A beautiful night along the Ohio River here in Louisville, Kentucky. We're coming back for the second half. Right after this, it's 0-0 between Louisville and St. Louis.
When it comes to hybrid technology, nobody has more models to choose from than Toyota. From the Prius, the hybrid that started it all, to America's best-selling car, Camry, and best-selling SUV, RAV4, to the first ever Corolla hybrid, and the new best-in-class Highlander hybrid. They all come with a new 10-year, 150,000-mile battery warranty. For all Toyota offers, see your Toyota dealer or go to buyatoyota.com. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
Spina bifida is what Henry has, it's not who he is. We have, on more than one occasion, had to rely on the generosity of Kozier Charities to help us provide the things that Henry needs for daily care. They completely took the stress off of that. And I think so often that's what happens with the Kozier Kids program, because they pay for more than just equipment. Don't be afraid to ask. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to not be able to do all of this by yourself. And Kozier Charities is ready and willing to stand in the gap. My child is living and breathing and smiling and happy because of Kozier Charity donors. I don't know that he would be where he is or be who he is without the support of Kozier Charities.
To apply for assistance or to support the Kozier Kids program, go to kozier.org/kids.
For the fans who started painting 3 hours before the game. For the fans who celebrate with high fives. For the huggers. The chest bumpers. And this guy. For fans like you who do things your way, there's Park Community Credit Union. Your city, your team, your way.
Just about set for the start of the second half here from Louisville. A beautiful night for some soccer between Lou City and St. Louis. Let's take a look at the highlights from that first half, and it was a pretty entertaining first half, just no goals to show for it.
The energy from Lou City was electric, coming right out of the tunnel. Oscar Jimenez, this is where you knew it was going to be something special in the first half. When he feels himself striking up over the ball, you got to get things going. And I respected him taking the effort from distance. Brian Ownby would do the same. Now they have the opportunity, by the way, to really play their brand of soccer. At Slugger, we talked about the dimensions. Wasn't exactly what they normally wanted, but now look at all the space they have to work with. Cameron Lancaster can actually line something up and doesn't have to worry about any turf monster getting in the way. Same thing here. Little stuff by Brian Ownby. Corbin Bone would get in the action. So many shots that were given, not necessarily a bunch on target, though, Josh. That was one of my few concerns, but this man, just keep going after him. Cameron Lancaster was very active in the first half. If he does not score today, I would be shocked, or at least not create one. He's had a heck of a first half. We would get a little bit of controversy, right? There was a discrepancy on the back line. They couldn't communicate well. The ball got whipped in. It goes to the handball. There were few looks out of St. Louis FC as well. Russell Cicerone trying to find his way, and Pat McMahon would not stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tackles, working his way back in. He was one of the bright spots at the tail end of last year.
Let's take a look at the Commonwealth Stats. Commonwealth Credit Union, we see you differently. 10 shots to 3 for Lou City. I think that tells the story. Again, I'd like him to see the hit the frame a bit more. Yep. Even the 3 shots from St. Louis FC, it's hard to exactly ring your bell as to what they were. The accuracy from both of these teams has not been the best. It's down around 77%. So you can see not everybody's still fully comfortable up over the ball. But here's the fun part. Come out at a half, hit the reset, the lights are on, 45 minutes. Let's have a little fun. This is really the first time at Lynn Family Stadium. There's going to be a lot of firsts here in the first couple of weeks. The lights are going to take effect here at Lynn Family Stadium. John Hackworth, I'm sure it was a lively halftime team talk. The teams are getting back out onto the field and just about ready to go. The teams will switch ends. The sun really no longer an issue. And as we get into this season a little bit more, we'll see Lynn Family Stadium a little bit more. And it's funny how you put the away side facing the sun as it sets. I don't know if that's just gamesmanship or what, but it's an advantage for sure. Someone read the rule book. Yeah. We're going to build it this way. Yes. The coin tosses are going over there. Everything methodically planned out as Steve Trittschuh trying to maybe steal 3 points on the road here tonight. Trying to get back in the win column. They got that big win over the Miami FC to start the season back in March. 4-1 win at home. Both these teams getting 3 points in March before losing their first match since the restart. Of course, the round of applause around the stadium for all the frontline workers and as the USL stands against racism. Waiting for that whistle once again. And we are back underway. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Team switch ends. It's now Louisville going right to left. Of course, St. Louis going the other way. Steve Trittschuh said that he wanted his team to come out fast out of the gates in that first half. Wasn't necessarily the case, but let's see what they can do here in this second half. Here's Ownby. Speedy Williams was the first goal in this stadium's history. Ownby. Trying to get it back on his right, clipping this up towards the back post. Kyle Morton is there to make the catch. Seems like we haven't called Tyler Blackwood's name a whole lot tonight. The point man for this St. Louis attack. Mostly been because Lou City has been doing things like this. Openo, the cross coming all the way through. Nobody was there to meet it at the back post. This one will roll all the way out for a throw-in.
They can't catch a break, Josh. Even on the throw, they're pinned in their own half. You take a look at the average positioning when these teams are trying to play out. It seems like every single time Lou City's on the ball, they've got 10 of their players compacted into about a 50-yard space just inside the center circle. St. Louis FC doesn't have the same luxury. They're really struggling to play out of the back, and when they do, just like this, it's a long ball out of the top, hoping someone runs onto it or can hold it up, but they're not resetting the line. So even if they are able to, there's no one to play off of. The secondary ball's not there. And once they turn it over, Lou City only has to go 60, 65 yards to get back in front of net.
It's going to be a challenge for St. Louis to try to reverse their fortune. But like you said in the first half, it might just be one of those games where St. Louis FC can counter once. That might be all they need.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There are going to be games where you're not at your best, you're chasing a lot. You just need that one magic moment and hope that everything going on the other side of the ball doesn't come back to bite you. That's a handball. There's your handball.
There it is. I knew there'd be one. Dakers right into the chest of Speedy Williams. And right to his pocket. That was the referee, Youssef El Masousi.
Foul.
Looked like he was trying to take a charge.
Fullback coming out of the backfield, middle linebacker in Speedy Williams, hitting that A gap. Good man.
Yellow card is presented by World of Beer.
Things have gone from bad to worse for 901 FC, by the way. Atlanta United 2 scored again, up 2-1. Things have not been kind to Tim Mulqueen this year so far. They added a lot of pieces, too.
There's plenty of intrigue around the league, especially with this new format as well, the groups. You get these 6-pointers like you get tonight. You And you feel like the favorites coming out of this Group E, Indy 11, St. Louis FC, and Lou City, there's only room for 2. Fans get into it tonight as well. Goes down for St. Louis. Back to his feet is Todd Wharton. His 2 assists this season. With Portland Timbers 2. Once again, this portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. A beautiful night along the Ohio River.
I enjoy that airport.
Never been to that airport before.
It's a good one, and I'll tell you 2 reasons why. Number 1, you can get Woodford Reserve either on your way in or on your way out in a gift pack.
It's Louisville.
It's Louisville, brown water. Number 2, it's the only place, not just the airport, only place I've ever been where Starbucks has a happy hour that serves wine.
Oh, wow.
Interesting little touch, if it fancies.
Yanyan Lapare sends it across. That's a flex out for a corner kick. First of this second half for St. Louis FC.
Problem is I'm there at 5 o'clock in the morning, so everything's closed and probably frowned upon to have a glass of wine at 5 a.m. So I just move on to the hot tea.
I won't judge.
You won't. Everybody else will. That's what I'm worried about.
Todd Wharton, an in-swinger. Well, he'll play this towards the top of the box and then get it right back. Up towards the back post. This was played well by St. Louis. It's knocked in. It's the opening goal. Straight off the training ground. Tyler Blackwood opens the scoring.
Prophecies do come true. I told you, pay attention here, Josh. Tyler Blackwood. He started the 2019 campaign with Sacramento Republic. Things didn't go as planned. But watch him understand exactly where a striker should be. This is where you just have a knack for goal scoring. Comes in 2019, 13 appearances, 6 goals and 2 assists, and this is exactly why. Drifts off the back post run, can't get the first effort. You just bide your time, wait for somebody else to put it back in the danger area, and he tucks it home.
Tyler Blackwood out of London, England. There was a good striker that came out of London, and Ian Wright, who said just stand in between the goalposts right in front of the goal, and you'll find a lot of goals. And Tyler Blackwood doing just that. 2 goals already this season for the 28-year-old. And that is quite a moment in this match. This is the ball coming right off of our camera.
Now watch the reaction. 2017, 2018 champions.
We said the stat, they've only lost back-to-back games once at home. Right now they are up against it. They'll need at least a goal to get a draw.
It's one of those ones, Josh, where if you didn't have the luxury of seeing the score bug and just watch the run of play, having not seen the goal, you would be shocked that St. Louis FC was winning right now. But that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just need one little glimpse. You know, they say the light at the end of the tunnel. You can give any analogy you want, but that's what you get. You have a conversation with your manager. You get into halftime. You maintain the 0. Okay, boost everybody back up. The belief that you had at the beginning of the match is now back. You go get your goal. Now you're back in business.
Well, we were talking in the first half how good Lou City is off of set pieces and corners. That looked like it was straight off the training ground and executed to perfection.
They did run into some wandering eyes at the end of last season defensively, referencing Lou City, and they really had to sum that up and get better. Obviously, it's still an area of concern as too many St. Louis FC jerseys going unmarked on what was not really a difficult ball to judge. I mean, yes, it's a sweeping one to the back post, but normally you've got someone sitting on the post. If you're running zone, you've got big enough bodies for someone to go up and win it. If you don't win it, there's no reason Tyler Blackwood should be left alone in the middle of the box.
as you said, let's look at the response from Lou City. A heavy challenge coming out of Lancaster. And Speedy Williams comes away with it. Here's Opano for McMahon, who was busy in that first half. Speedy Williams gets cut off as Kavita puts it out of play. Ball in, knocked out of Wale. And it's a corner kick upcoming for Louisville.
Well done by Brian Omby. Just keep pushing here. Sometimes when you are frustrated, your vision starts to escape you. Better ball is lofted all the way to the back post here. Still threatening.
Corner kicks are presented by Single Point Solutions, in your corner with superior customer support. Single Point Solutions. Ball sent in again. Tosh was there, headed on, and it's right at Morton. Speedy Williams was all alone in the middle of the box, but not enough pace behind that.
When you do run some of these stunts, Josh, what happens is, as the ball comes on the initial challenge by Sean Tosh, he kind of takes the air out of it. So it's difficult for Speedy Williams on the redirect to get enough power behind it to challenge Kyle Morton. That's one where sometimes you almost wonder, does Sean Tosh go it alone? You know, and go all the way to the back post and use the momentum of the ball played to him to his advantage.
We'll see now how the thinking changes for both sides. St. Louis trying to protect this 1-0 advantage, just getting into the final half hour plus. Cicerone, ball in. Blackwood did deflect off of him. They'll chase this down into the corner. Dakers had to be dealt with there by Speedy Williams and Ownby. Cut off by Blackwood. Lancaster.
Good ball.
There's Morton playing sweeper keeper. Able to win it back for St. Louis.
Super smart. Antoine Opano on the backside had read it perfectly. Cameron Lancaster saw him streaking. But that's some of the vision that Kyle Morton brings with him. He's accustomed to some of those balls coming back over the top in the system that he played in under Bob Lilly. When they would run their back five and they would push guys like Ryan James or Jordan Dover high, they would drift their back three as well. Every now and then, those diagonal balls would break them down. Goalkeeper get isolated in a one-on-one situation, but Kyle Morton has been doing some great training in the offseason.
You probably have to feel good with Toby Adewole there at center back tonight, with a keeper he's played with for a few years in Pittsburgh. Rivas couldn't quite keep it in play. Dakers will step in to intercept. Dakers one-on-one at the back. Quickly closed down as Speedy Williams stepped in. Seems like St. Louis finding themselves in some more open spaces in the second half.
Pretty poor giveaway coming out of the back for Lou City, and Oscar Jimenez going to the ground here. Wes Sharpie also involved on the challenge to keep the attack coming out. He's actually motioned to that left leg of his, and you hope that that's not the case. They bounced so many outside backs last year and finally have gotten everybody healthy to get Oscar Jimenez on his natural side at the left back position. John Hackworth running over a little black book. What do we have to do if we do have to make this change?
And this was one of the worries coming back after such a long break, those soft tissues. Those injuries could pop up throughout the season, and I hope that is not the case here for Oscar Jimenez.
They've got options, is the good news.
Yes.
You've got Jimmy Ockford that you could slide over. Sean Tosh can pretty much play anywhere you want. Wes Sharpie, Pat McMahon will most assuredly stay on the right. Akeel Watts you can throw in, even Niall McCabe. You can also go to 3. It's a bit early in the game for John Hackworth to make the move to go to a 3-back. We have seen it from them in the past, but they're not exactly being played off the park right now. It's not the performance we saw 30 minutes into the first. They're still the better squad, just down 1-0, and you're just hoping right now that Oscar Jimenez can a little walk to the sideline and get back at it. A little tentative isn't a walk-off, though.
It looks like it is McCabe readying to come on. So it will be Niall McCabe. The Irishman comes on. It will be Jimenez who does come off. That substitution is brought to you by MHS Global for Lou City Subs.
That substitution presented by MHS Global, above and beyond.
Here comes Lou City again. Can they find that equalizer just past the hour mark? Niall McCabe, his first touch on the field. Wharton steps in to knock it away. So how does the shape change now with McCabe on?
They haven't done anything yet. Niall McCabe is an extremely versatile player who will just slot into that left back position right now. They will cheat a little bit and allow him to play higher. Already saw that on the initial ball shoved in, and what you'll see is just a little flip-flop. You might see Wes Sharpie drift over there a bit more comfortable on the left side. And that way when he starts to step higher, you do have the coverage. Now they're always accustomed to Oscar Jimenez going, but with the addition of Niall McCabe, they may ask a bit more out of him, especially because of the fresh legs. So don't be surprised if Pat McMahon isn't as active trying to get the ball forward. And you just kind of cheat a little bit when he does start to make those runs up top.
Here's G, the flag. Oh, the flag will go up. Niall McCabe looked like he said something to the AR here on the near side and just wanted to let play continue. And we will get a sub on now for St. Louis. It'll be Wall Fall. As Guy Bend will make way. Of course, that substitution brought to you by MHS Global.
Rather lackluster night for Guy Ben. Not necessarily jumping out of his socks, but didn't have to talk about him too much in that holding midfielder spot. I think the entire midfield right now is tired. They've been chasing a lot, and a congratulatory pump from his manager. Watch this guy, Wallfall. He's a game changer.
This is one of the guys that John Hackworth pointed out in our talks, that he's been very effective in St. Louis colors. Openo. Coming back to his left, gets the cross in, the header on. And Masoso just couldn't quite put that on frame. Now is the perfect time to see how Commonwealth Credit Union, we'll take a look at that in a second as we take another look at this. Now is the perfect time to see how Commonwealth Credit Union is bettering lives in the community. When you become a member of our CCU family, you also become an owner. Commonwealth Credit Union, we see you differently. Getting himself into the mix here just onto the field for St. Louis. Lou City still trying to find that equalizer. Conceded 4 straight goals since their first goal since the restart. It was Speedy Williams.
I'm just wondering how much longer Lou City sideline, Hackworth, Denny Cruz are going to wait until they bring on some reinforcements on the width. Brian Ownby was pretty active in the first half and sort of backed off here a little bit in the second. Just wondering, is there a change in the likes of possibly Antoine Openo, bring on Abdou Jam? Get George Davis involved as well. With his debut at Lynn Family Stadium, one of the triumvirate.
Speedy Williams, the same end they scored their first goal against Pittsburgh last Sunday. Corbin Bone. Is it out for Masoso?
Josh, look at all the purple jerseys right now. They brought Brian Ownby on the inside. This is when Niall McCabe, when they cheat and they push him that high, you can do it.
Lancaster just couldn't quite get free of the defender. It was the one set piece. Tyler Blackwood able to just knock it in from at the top of the 6-yard box. That's the only difference so far in this matchup. Saw Cameron Lancaster hit the post in the first half. Crossbar was hit as well. Have not been able to hit the back of the net as of yet. McCabe. Damian Lapare, an aggressive challenge, but wins it. Cicerone steps in. Now it's Tosh. Long cross coming. Brought down by Ownby. On the turn was Lancaster. A player down. It looks like it's Paris G for St. Louis.
Cameron Lancaster now, McCabe having a few words as now McCabe felt like maybe instead of him pulling the trigger with that left foot, just slide it outside, let him run on. A little stretch by Adewale. This back line has had some kind of shift tonight. Very active. It's one of the ones you get done. Check out the tracker and have a conversation with your strength and conditioning and say, see, I still got it.
It's a warm night too in Louisville.
I can put the miles on the odometer when needed. Also got to be the first one into the masseuse's room.
I'm sure the masseuse will be very busy, especially early on in the season. As the sun's setting, a beautiful night here in Louisville.
Can we talk about, by the way, and I see that shot, about the warm-up jerseys from St. Louis FC? I saw them pregame as well.
Those are nice.
Don't mind if you do.
Those are very nice.
You get the luxury to jump online, and always been a fan of their whites. You know, there are a few jerseys that float around this league that jump out to me. I was always a big fan of the Bethlehem Steel, now Philadelphia Union 2, of their whites with the blue collar. Like that one a lot. Thought that was sharp.
You know, the one that I think is maybe not the best in the league, but one of the sharpest is San Antonio.
Which one?
The red and black checkerboard.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that too. I like the Monarchs. They're whites this year.
New Mexico, the new Puma kits,
Ooh.
as Blackwood strides down the right and wins a corner kick.
Usually get access to the warm-up jerseys though, do we?
I don't know. You know people.
Yeah. I just want my stuff back.
There it is.
There it is.
That
Look
is
at
beautiful.
It. Oh, yeah. Don't mind that at all. For some reasons, my eyes think Juventus, but I don't know.
I'm lost on that one.
You're a Man City fan. You would be.
Oh. Another corner kick for St. Louis. Towards the top of the area, Cicerone was ready to tee that one up. And a foul right outside the box. And this will be a set piece opportunity for St. Louis.
Antoine Obono doesn't feel like he was the one who gets himself into trouble here. John Hackworth saying the same thing to the sideline. And you saw the body go to ground. Wall Fall will 100% step up to this ball. The question is,
right there.
Yeah, does he feel himself enough to have a go? You know, being on the pitch, he's been on for about 6-7 minutes so far, getting the legs going. He has hit some wonder strikes in the past. If you're Chris Hubbard, set that wall and watch out.
The three-man wall for Lou City. And here is Wall Fall going for goal. It's saved at the near post by Hubbard.
That's top quality from Chris Hubbard, Josh. In traffic, bodies in front of him, small angle on the near post. Because you still have to realize that there's going to be runners coming over your left shoulder as well. You have to watch for that little dink right around the penalty mark and in between the six. He stays true, stays home, makes a phenomenal save.
We saw a similar free kick, maybe a smaller angle though from Cameron Lancaster in the first half. Morton made an equally as impressive save. Trying to keep this in play. Lancaster looking for the flick. He got it, but it was cleared away. Here's Blackwood, the goal scorer. Running right at this back line. Couldn't get by Tosh.
With all the spacing right now, watch this quick little counter. This is where you want to pick it up. Get Niall McCabe involved on the outside, and that's a foul for sure. But start to increase the tempo here, Josh. Outside of 15 minutes, you've got an opportunity. The legs are going to be heavy for St. Louis.
Heavy challenge there by Todd Wharton. Might be lucky not to see himself go into the book. Oh, now he will. Youssef El Masousi just thinking about that one a little bit. Abdou Jam will come on for Antoine Obono.
The referee has issued a world of beer yellow card to St. Louis number 7, Todd Wharton.
That substitution is brought to you by MHS Global Above and Beyond.
Number 14,
Going to provide some energy coming on. Go back to that yellow card first. It's brought to you by World of Beer. Goes to Todd Wharton, the second of the match for St. Louis FC. Just one more thing to think about here in these final 16.5 minutes for Steve Trittschuh. Dujam, his first touch on the field. Is it off for Corbin Bone? Going to work for Niall McCabe. Oops. His hand goes straight up and out of play. Fans head to Twitter to vote on tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates VisionWorks Man of the Match. Poll will be open for the next 2 minutes. Vote now at twitter.com/LouCity.
You got a horse in the race? Kentucky Derby, pun intended. See what I did there?
That was good. That was very good.
I don't have many, but you know. Anybody tickle your fancy so far?
Tough to say, although Cameron Lancaster hitting the post twice. Who would you say?
I knew you were going to ask me. I just wasn't ready.
You put me on the spot as well.
I don't mind the Lancaster shout at this point in time, even though he hasn't scored.
Maybe that man right there.
I haven't mind, to be honest, the shift that Brian Omby's put in.
Yep.
He's pretty busy. Sean Tosh as well. Probably understated what he's been able to do for the back line.
McCabe. Lancaster goes down, a shout for penalty. Immediately swarmed by St. Louis players. If you're a lip reader, you can say, how is that not a foul? We'll take a look at that again in just a moment, but it was a shout for penalty. And a player down for St. Louis. Looks like that's the goal scorer, Blackwood. Hackworth is fired up. These teams will face off again right here, end of August on the 29th, and then twice in September on the 12th and the 26th. They are all here in Louisville.
It's time for another league-officiated hydration break.
Here is our second half hydration break. So let's go take a look at that last opportunity and a shout for penalty as John Hackworth is talking with the referee during this break. What say you, Devin Kerr?
Nope. Nothing at all.
And I'll agree with you on that one.
Nothing at all. He's trying to bring that across his body. That's a striker knowing exactly what his surroundings are, thinking that a tiny little touch will allow the referee to point to the spot. And unfortunately, his touch got away from him. They have really had not as much energy, right, in the second half, offensively. You know, they've moved forward and
Lou City?
Yeah, it's been the imagination that we've seen out of them in the past, namely the beginning of this game.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a tale of two halves, but it's definitely a
headed that way.
Tick down.
Yeah, it's definitely headed that way. I think they got a lot of guys out running downhill, balls out in front, getting Lancaster down to the byline, in around the 6-yard box. I mean, their average line was right at midfield. You couldn't play out. Now they're chasing the game a bit more. I'm sure he's going to be frustrated. And the reason being, it's easy to sit here and say they're not playing well, they're not doing this. You're also saying it because you know all the success that this team has had and what they're capable of. And with all due respect to St. Louis FC, I'm not taking anything away from their goal or what they've put on the field tonight. They just don't necessarily have the same, you don't want to say pedigree, they don't have the same portfolio, that's the better word to use.
Right.
Of what Louisville City's brought to the table. A lot of these guys, St. Louis FC, Steve Tritchu, their coach, first year. It's not a rebuild, but the identity's starting to change. You're in a new system. That's a lot for a team to handle. And as we mentioned, opening first half, not that great, but they steal a goal. They're just hoping they can hang on at this point.
Well, we were talking about before the match, the continuity of this Louisville City team year after year. It's a lot of the same guys. They've been very successful, but at a certain point, it has to come to an end. At the top of the box, it was Bone and Lancaster. Bone will keep this alive. To the end line for Lancaster, trying to turn. Denied, and then it's cleared. These next 11 minutes plus stoppage time could be really busy for this back line of St. Louis. Bone for Speedy Williams, and it's a free kick opportunity just outside the box for Lou City.
You're in a lose-lose situation right now if you're wall fall, because you're running the obstruction line. Really well done by Speedy Williams, because he knows the tackle's going to come even if he doesn't go to ground. So he just lets himself carry forward. It goes two ways. He gets the touch around him. He continues the run. And the ball goes outside. They're able to whip it back into the box. Or Wallfall stands his ground, which he does. And the referee calls a foul. That's high IQ out of that player.
Well, it's a 5th third free kick upcoming for Lou City. Morton trying to set up this wall. What a big opportunity this could be with 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Lancaster and McCabe. 4-man wall for St. Louis. It'll be Lancaster right off the wall. And it's Wallfall who goes down.
Just couldn't get it up high enough. He was itching for that near post. It's difficult when you have the likes of Cameron Lancaster and now McCabe standing up over the ball.
And Wallfall, one of the, I'm sure, taller players on this St. Louis side. Good person to stick in that 4-man wall.
Here's where you have to be really careful if you're Lou City. 2 reasons. One, you obviously don't want to give up a second on the quick counter, which right now St. Louis FC is residing themselves to. More importantly, Josh, you have to make sure you don't keep giving the same look. Because with Steve Tritchu allowing his boys to barricade themselves right around their box and just outside of it, all 11 guys are about 25 yards from the goal right now.
Tosh back into the middle. Boy, he set that up nicely. Speedy Williams couldn't quite keep it alive. Here's Rivas. He looked upfield, and now he'll slow things down.
Just keep the ball moving here. Work it inside out, outside in. Everybody keep rotating. Make St. Louis FC come and get it. Really challenge them.
There's McCabe. Again into the middle towards the back post. Well, it wasn't cleared cleanly, but it is offside.
Not a bad idea. Much better from Louisville City FC. All started with Cameron Lancaster dropping deep down into the middle. Pulls one of the defenders with him. Niall McCabe recognizes the space, slides over to the left. Brian Omby gets in on the act. This is exactly what I was talking about. It can't just be this willy-nilly out to the wings, knock the ball in. You're never going to get something in like that.
Lou City has about 7.5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Here's Cicerone for St. Louis. Was cut off. Sharpie there in defense for Rivas. Cicerone just ran out of room. Fans follow Lou City and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. USL League One also getting going tonight. It's Greenville Triumph and Fort Lauderdale CF. More of the league kicking off next week. It's all on ESPN Plus.
Johnny Harkes' boys make it back to the final.
They have a very good chance to do so. And I told you before the match, a great trivia question now in USL League One. Alex Morel scored tonight for Greenville. It was the first goal of the season. He has now scored the first goal in both seasons in USL League One history.
Well, I'll let you know, Josh. When I get into my local trivia, I'll make sure that I bring you along just for that one.
Just for that one. That's probably all I'll be good for. Maybe some frustration setting in for Lou City.
But just stay here. You know, don't resort yourself to drop 50, 60 yards back. Stay right in front of it. Make them play at you. if they're going to knock that long ball, you've got guys back there. Shantosh is there, Wes Sharpie. They'll go win it for you. Don't allow them to just knock it to Paris G. Waste more time and play it off. Of course, if Kyle Morton comes up and hits it like he's doing now, you have to drop.
Jam has some room. Ownby making a long run. Jam trying to slip it in behind. Ownby. His cross was deflected. He'll keep this in play. Jam in again. Masoso couldn't quite close it down. It's cleared again. 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go as Lou City try to salvage something. And now 2 subs coming in. It's Sam Fink. He will come in for Joaquin Rivas. And Nishi Vlastos will also come on. The 20-year-old out of Casper, Wyoming, Nishi Vlastos.
St. Louis substitution. In the match, number 4, Sam Fink.
That substitution brought to you by MHS Global. Will be the goal scorer, Tyler Blackwood, to come off. We didn't call his name a whole lot tonight, but he is the difference in the game so far.
Steve Tritchu is parking the bus right now, pulling off his striker. Cicerone and Dakers will still be responsible for occupying some space up top, but right now they're worried about the wings. Will Fall, Vlastos, Wharton, and Sam Fink will just drop in, provide an extra body, some of that veteran leadership, high quality vision that he possesses.
Out of Edwardsville, Illinois. Actually, that is the same town that Steve Tritchu went to college, where he played at SIUE. Here's Niall McCabe setting up this free kick. It's the top of the box. Wasn't cleared all that well. McCabe couldn't come away with it. Speedy Williams does. Speedy Williams was about the same spot he scored from on Sunday, just couldn't put it on frame.
That is your last call ahead of the team store. Be sure to get your Louisville City and Racing gear today.
Josh, you were talking about the heat. Everybody's cramping now. Fanuel Kavita.
It's about 90 degrees today.
Don't miss that.
Midwest humidity as well.
Sits on you.
It does. Tonight's Dr. Mark Lynn and Associates VisionWorks man of the match is Pat McMahon. Pretty good night for the Bolingbrook, Illinois native. His 3rd season here in Louisville. Hubbard will come out to claim this. 2 minutes plus stoppage time. Remember, we did have the hydration break, so should be a decent chunk of time at the end of this 90 minutes, but the seconds starting to tick away here for Louisville to salvage something out of their first 2 matches here at home. Just the 2nd time they lost back-to-back home matches, whether that be at Slugger Field or here at beautiful Lynn Family Stadium. Here's Ownby for Jam. McMahon will pick this up. Sent back in again. A race for the loose ball. Sharpie flicked along for McCabe. Long switch, and it's intercepted. Cabe sticking himself in. A foul. There's a sub coming for Lou City. George Davis, the fourth, will come on his 5th season with Lou City, and it will be Speedy Williams to make way. John Hackworth putting all of his attacking weapons on now. At this point, nothing to lose.
You got to go after this game. The way that you've played, you feel like a reward might be due. Not been as dangerous here in the second half, and just searching for some of that magic that St. Louis FC was able to grab at the start of the first half, second half, steal that goal.
The stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, and it's 7 minutes. That's a pretty big number. Here's Dakers, an option in the middle. It's Vlastos. Instead, it's Dakers who keeps going. Keep moving it along for Cicerone. Cicerone! And the flag was up for offside. It was a good finish in the end, but the flag was up.
With all the movement you just saw, if I'm Chris Hubbard, I'm putting this down and playing immediately. St. Louis FC going to be spread out all over the match, but you got to find feet. You cannot make a mistake like that. And now you're chasing again.
And the flag up once again. Lou City trying to find that equalizer. Here's Sharpie. Cleared away. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent. Following the success of the first Academy Cup events, clubs can now apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off in spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com or search USL #Academy on social media, as that shot just goes wide. It was Dakers coming forward, trying to put the game away with just 5 minutes to play.
This looks like Chris Hubbard got a piece of this. I think Louisville City's getting off scot-free on this one. Poor giveaway by Wes Sharpie. Tired man as Steve Tritchu's going to go to his bench once again. Richard Bryan will come on. And where's the desire right now for me, Josh, as you move into extra time here? Let's pick it up. They've gotten into that long ball mentality. This team, Louisville City, is so good because they can put it down and knock it and play with the best of them. We're just not seeing that right now. And it's not exactly a masterclass defensive shape going on by St. Louis FC. They're just allowing Lou City to kind of go about their business. St. Louis FC sitting. Louisville's making it easy on them.
The substitution brought to you by MHS Global as Dakers comes off. You can see him just walking off. How tired he is, especially after this long run. So 4 minutes to go. And Lou City find an equalizer. Have to give St. Louis a lot of credit coming on the road following a tough loss last week. The hands of Indy 11, who look really good to start this 2020 season. Might be walking out of Louisville with 3 points, a heavy challenge from behind. And that is a yellow card presented to Brian Ownby.
More importantly, this is going to tick some really precious seconds off the clock. And how about Brian Ownby coming up out of that? He feels like maybe he caught himself. In from behind. Grabs Cicerone the entire way. Frustrating challenge coming out of Brian Ownby, and He's going to be even more frustrated by the fact that his body's not responding the way he'd like him to.
And it's Cicerone who's still down. Will be a set piece opportunity for St. Louis again. Test that man, Chris Hubbard, in goal. Where does Lou City go from here? It's been a tough go of it since the restart. Just the one goal from Speedy Williams. They've conceded 4 since then. They're staring down the barrel of no points out of their first 2 home matches. That is rare air for this club.
We combine that with the fact that in Group E, possibly a bit more distance created than they would like. Indy 11 winning again. Combine that with their opening week match, that's 3 straight, gets them a 9 points. Virtually 6 back for Louisville City. St. Louis FC, of course, they did some pretty impressive things week 1 with the 4-1 drubbing of Miami FC. Not a bad performance against Indy 11, just maybe not as many as opportunities as they'd like. Gave up the late goal, lose 2-0. And this will put an easy 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, we've been sitting here for a while. Cicerone is off the field. Looks like they're just going to play this one short.
Well, if you're smart by wall fall, it's exactly what you do. Touch it right over your left shoulder, go to the corner, tail the game off. Either that, or if they're going to give you this space, knock one all the way back over here and go back with it. There you go.
Vlastos and Masoso. Kenyon Lapare goes down. And what's it going to be this time? Looks like a free kick for St. Louis.
Yeah, this is the wrong decision here. This ball was out, and that's what everybody's frustrated with. The failure by our center referee to see the ball that had gone over the end line. So when they tried to get around Gagnon Lapare, play had already finished. The problem was the referee hadn't acknowledged it. And that's the frustration going on right now.
Almost a look of disbelief from John Hackworth.
It's a pretty non-generous 10 yards for the St. Louis boys.
No kidding. Well, we're past the 7 minutes, but we've been in a dead ball situation for at least 2 minutes of it. You'd expect us to get at least to 98, and we'll see what happens after that.
Now you have to resort to direct play. And that's where more of the frustration is going to come in because of all the chances in the first half.
Lofted forward, Lancaster, cleared away by G. Sharpie will track this down. The overlapping run, McCabe will send this in again. Morton way off his line, and a brave catch there by the St. Louis goalkeeper.
You think he's afraid of going up and winning this?
Absolutely
You
not.
don't see goalkeepers do this around their 6-yard box, yet alone just inside the top of the 18. That's what you want out of your netminder. That's a brilliant move by Kyle Morton.
Now we're past 98 as we keep playing.
You'll get about 30 seconds here, Josh, and you're done.
Here's McCabe. So-so. Swing it around to the right. Long ball lofted in. Jean was there. Heads it over, and could that be all she wrote tonight for Lou City? Past 99 minutes now. All eyes now on Yusuf El Masousi. We keep on going. Masoso, is there time for one last chance here for Lou City? It looks like there is. Sharpie for McCabe. Swings it in. Lancaster tried to get there. It was cleared away by Fink. Sent forward again. George Davis, the fourth, keeps it alive. Another ball in. Headed away by Kavita. Hands on knees for St. Louis defenders. Over 100 minutes now. It's a throw in for St. Louis. And there's the final whistle. All 3 points go to St. Louis FC. Tyler Blackwood. His goal is the difference, and for just the second time, Lou City has lost consecutive home matches. Devin Kerr, that's a gutsy win for the roadside tonight.
The initial Kings Cup started all the way back on March 28th of 2015, and this series has not been kind, Josh. 1-5-4 all time for the boys in green and blue. But I tell you what, they gutted it out. Sometimes the magic isn't there. Sometimes you're going to have to chase a bit more than you like. But if you can find a way to find that one magic moment shining through and then defend the rest of the way, you can find a saving grace. Tyler Blackwood gets that moment. They get the 3 points. And I'll tell you what, they get a bit closer to Indy 11 as well.
The Englishman does get the goal. Here's tonight's Toyota move of the game. Let's go places. And it was Pat McMahon. He was our man of the match, and he also put in a pretty good shift throughout the entire match.
Last week, Oscar Jimenez was probably the one who stood out most to everyone and how consistent he was. He goes out injured tonight. It was after this moment, but Pat McMahon, one of the shining stars at the end of the 2019 season, filling that right back position, had a quality shift himself this evening.
You can see the frustration on the faces of all these Lou City players, but for St. Louis, it'll be a happy bus ride home. They are 1-0 winners tonight here in Louisville. We'll come back and wrap things up from Lynn Family Stadium.
We're on a Toyota USA road trip through the Bluegrass State.
There is so much to see and do here in Kentucky.
And there's no better way to do it than in a new Toyota. They just keep making them better and better.
Toyota actually spends $1 million every hour of every day on R&D.
And the information they learn here is what makes Toyota Safety Sense so effective. Advanced safety as standard equipment. Gotta love that.
Toyota, driven here, loved here.
Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
We still hand rotate every barrel. We still hand dip every bottle. We still hand cut every label and use red winter wheat from the same single-family farm. Because just like our distinctive taste, these are the marks of the maker.
My name is Alex Thomas, and I am a third-generation owner-operator of Thomas Car Wash.
Eli Thomas. I'm second-generation Thomas Car Wash. We were founded in 1946. My father and my uncle, they hand-washed. I started in, when we were 8 and 9 years old. We'd come home from school, my father would call, tell us to come and do front and back bumpers. We could barely reach the bumper, but he wanted us working early. We're still with it, me and my brother and my son. We've been around for, 70-something years. Gotta be doing something right.
Back here in Louisville to wrap things up from a St. Louis win here at Lynn Family Stadium. And what a match it was. Let's take a look at the save of the game presented by Allstate Good Hands. It was Wallfall trying to tee one up. And Chris Hubbard came up with a good save.
Read this book before. Such a difficult angle. You feel like, okay, yeah, if he's going to hit it, it's going to go near post. But again, there are so many other options that Wallfall could have gone after. Chris Hubbard, very well done.
And let's take a look at the highlights from how this one went down. It was a positive first half for Louisville. You just thought it was a matter of when and not if they'd score, but they just could not find the back of the net tonight.
Giving them so much praise for their ability on set-piece opportunities, and rightfully so. Brian Ownby felt like, yeah, you know what? Speedy Williams can strike it. Oscar Jimenez can. Anything that I can do as well. Hits it up over the bar. Cameron Lancaster, phenomenal in the opening 45 minutes. Started to fade away out of this match, and that's honestly about 30, 35 minutes into the first half, Josh. That's when things started to go awry, right? You felt like some of the energy was going out of this building. It's exactly what happened. Pat McMahon, we gave him player of the game. He deserved it. Was all over tonight. Very efficient on the ball. He's not going to blow you out of the water with his performance. He's just steady. Wins the tackles, wins the ball, gets rid of it, and then they start to play the other direction. End of the first half. There was some controversy. Was it a penalty? Was it not? You're never really going to know. But this is where that special moment poked its head out at Lynn Family Stadium tonight. Saw it a couple times from Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Let's have a little fun in the corner. Lapare goes all the way back post. Touch it back in. Guy Ben before his departure. Finds Tyler Blackwood. Since his acquisition, by the way, 16 appearances, 8 goals, 2 assists. 10 times he has marked out of 16 matches. I'd say that's some quality recruiting.
His second goal of this young season, and the chances would keep on coming for Louisville, but they just could not find the back of the net tonight. Speedy Williams almost scored exactly like he did last week. It just was not happening with the team in the purple kits tonight. Let's take a look at the Commonwealth Stats. Commonwealth Credit Union, we see you differently, and you can see the discrepancy in shots, but really doesn't matter because it was 1-0 in the end.
They got a predictable, Louisville City did, as the game went on. And I said if you wanted to be able to provide yourself the opportunity to not only get back in this match, but go win it, Josh, you had to shaken things up a little bit. Let's get some liveliness out of the boys up top. You know, once they brought Niall McCabe in, they started to overload numbers in the middle, try and push guys higher. Didn't really benefit them. They started to fade, and to be honest, they had less opportunities. It was long balls over the top. Maybe we get a second run onto it. St. Louis FC just weathered the storm. They're getting out of here with 3 points.
Well, they'll be in action. St. Louis will against Indy 11 next, while Lou City will welcome in Sporting Kansas City 2. But tonight, the Kings Cup goes to St. Louis, a big 1-0 win for St. Louis FC tonight in Louisville. For our entire crew, broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long from Louisville, where it finishes. St. Louis FC 1, Lou City 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.